Welcome, everybody, to today's Spa Business Mastery podcast. And I have a really special guest on the podcast today. And it's because we're talking about virtual or online events. Now, many of you have done in-person, in-clinic, in-spa events at your facilities throughout the years. It's very popular to have a spring event and also a fall event to kind of prep for kind of that Christmas kickoff, the holiday kickoff. So, COVID has changed a lot of things when it comes to events. Of course, many states and provinces were closed and actually shut down and could not have people in their business, even having services. And also, there's been some spas that, even though they have been able to have spa services, like people coming in for spa services, they haven't been able to have events because, of course, there's more than two people in the treatment room. So I wanted to bring my friend and soul sister and aesthetic spa peer, Shannon Hall, on today from Anam Cara Soul and Skin Sanctuary here in Sydney. We're neighbors here as well as friends. And I wanted to bring Shannon on to share with you an event that she did in November that was it was an online event. And it was such a great event for her that I asked her to come on and be with us and share her perspective of having an online event versus an in-clinic event. Now, Shannon, welcome. Thank you so much for coming on and agreeing to be interviewed. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
So you and I have talked about spa. We talk shop at length, ad nauseum. But this particular topic, I wanted you to share with the rest of our industry kind of what your experience was, because you are a solo business. You've been solo for a really long time. And tell me a little bit about what you normally do for your spa events. Like, how often do you do them, and what do they look like?
Okay, well, I normally have two events a year. So one, obviously pre-Christmas, it's kind of more like an open house event. And then I usually have one in the spring just to launch any new products that might be coming on with any of the partners that I'm partnered with. So I go, send out invitations. I've sent out physical invitations, online invitations through email, through my booking system, as well as done a Facebook event, like created a Facebook business event on my business page and sent out invites through that as well. Obviously, getting all of the things organized for that event, I usually do a gift basket draw, usually some swag. And
you also have like you had little stations, so you carry Dermalogica.
Yes, I do.
And you have your rep come in, and she would be a station, you would be a station. Sometimes I was a station.
Yes, exactly. And then there was other things set up around the space, and it was very interactive. And of course, food and beverages were provided at that event as well.
And you just had, I mean, you have a home-based business. And so you had your event in your home and in your studio, like people kind of mingled around. It was an open house. And so there was, I know you, and I know how fastidious you are with cleanliness. So, as far as what you had to do to prep for your event, it was a fair amount. Like, even so, we're comparing this like a smaller solo event to a larger clinic, but the steps are the same in a lot of ways. You have to prep the space to make, as far as cleaning and moving things around and prep, where are you going to put food? Okay, where are the stations going to be? How is the flow going to go? So, whether you're solo or you have a team in a bigger business, it just, it's a complicated process to.
It's a lot of planning.
Yeah. Okay.
For sure.
So, now that was your normal event that you had in person. Now, what were your, it was lots of mingling around and food and, people getting to check out stuff and learn from the rep and learn from you. Now, what would you, like, as far as your events go, what would you normally do in terms of sales?
Well, in the past 3 events that I've had in the house, it's just been a little over 1,000 And, that's with about 15 people, because it is a small home and it's a solo business in a small space. So with 15 people, it was about $1,000 in sales
Is that,
for that.
is there any kind of residual, or is that total? Like, is that that evening as well as residual sales?
I would say it was that evening with a little bit of residual sales, not a lot in
Mhm.
that space and time. So you can maybe chalk it up to 1,100 or $1,200
Right.
worth of sales. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it was a couple of hours. You normally had your event was for a few hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to the meat of things and talk about
Okay.
your virtual event so you pivoted to a virtual skincare event in November. So can you share a little bit about what that looked like? Like, what was the focus of the event?
Well, definitely chose something to focus on to educate my clients. So I focused on serums and I focused on a nighttime ritual, those two things, to teach them about the dermalogica serums that were available and how to apply them, and some fun rituals to make it sort of
Well, to like
more
to
energetic.
yeah, to incorporate. So we got the product, but you wanted to teach them how to incorporate that particular product and those great ingredients into their routine. And I love that. So that they've got,
Yeah,
not only are you're selling, but you're also, it's that dovetail of education too.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And so it was retail sales. Did you have any service sales that you were offering, even though I don't think
I
you were closed at, no,
I
you weren't.
did not for this particular event. Like, it was really just a focus on the new skincare that had come out for Christmas, because it was for a Christmas event in November. So I did talk about, some of those things that came out, but then the focus was really on serums
Mhm.
specifically.
Okay. So can you share a little bit exactly how, like, what did that education look like? What, like, as far as the flow of that event? So there was a start time, and did you charge for this event?
I did not charge for this particular event. It's something that I definitely would do going forward, just to have that commitment. But I did say to the clients or the people that signed up that if they were there and at that event, and I could see that they were there at that event, they would get $10 off any serum that they wanted to purchase from that event.
Okay,
So it was only if they showed up.
right.
Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, I've seen it being done. Like, you can do this concept, whether it's in clinic or in spa or a virtual event, where you charge for a ticket price, but you can also
Hmm.
basically allow them to use whatever that ticket price is goes towards product sales. So that's another way of kind of helping to ensure people show up and are committed to the actual event, also to
Exactly.
help kind of boost your sales as well. So,
Yes.
okay, so they came to the event. Walk us through what you kind of your flow of the process of what you did.
Well, I did have a door prize, so I did make sure that they saw what that prize was, sort of starting out. Obviously, making sure that they were cozy in their pajamas, which was really wonderful. They could be that way, had their glass of wine on hand before we started. And then we got just into the process right away in terms of cleansing, toning.
So did you like kind of start with walking them through the ritual, and as you were kind of educating about the ritual, you kind of wove in the serum education?
Well, what I did was I educated about the serums
First.
first. I talked about the serums first, and then I chose a serum particularly to use for my skin type. So they were actually educated about each and every serum first. We talked about that, a little bit of show and tell with the product.
Mhm.
And then when it was time to do the ritual towards the end, then I did actually choose a serum, show them it was actually a gua sha
Okay.
ritual, and then finished with a night cream.
Okay.
Um, so
Beautiful.
they had an opportunity to learn actually about all of the different serums, and then have questions about what kind of serum do you think I should use for my skin. We opened it up and stopped each time to actually open it up for questions so that it was more interactive and people could ask.
So, and I believe you did this. Did you do this as a Facebook Live?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Now, for those of you that are listening, you can certainly do it as a Facebook Live and then have it live on your social media, or IGTV. Have it live on your social media as a piece of content. Or you could also make this more exclusive and have, when you send out your invitations, that it could be a Zoom link, that it's more private in terms of having an event like this. So that's another way of doing it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, okay. So then, did you have any offers at the end as far as encouraging people to purchase?
Well, I certainly did. I reminded them that, of course, that they would be, be able to use that $10 towards any serum. That was a reminder that their name would be going into the draw. And I actually did make up have little bags of the different serums
Okay.
for each client that was there. And I sort of have a pick up and drop off spot in
Mhm.
at my spa. So, I made them up like little Christmas gift bags so that they could actually come and pick that up and try the different serums that were in there as well. And they were just samples. They were
Nice.
just little samples that were
So
given
that
by
you
the
get
company.
awesome. Very, very nice.
Yeah.
So, and how long and like as far as duration of time was that event for you?
It was an hour and a half,
Mhm.
start to finish.
And
And
and you didn't have to really clean your house.
I
Well,
didn't
your house
have
is
to kick out
spotless.
my partner,
You didn't have to
you
kick out
know,
Brian.
I didn't have to kick him out. It When I came back in, you know what, Kirsten, I just thought, wow, why haven't I been doing this? I just felt so relaxed, far less stress, far less prep, far less expense in terms of finances, of food, far less expensive stress in terms of energy and time. And my sales were more than what they would have been, like twice as much
Nice. Yeah.
more. It was really, it was a real aha moment for me, for sure.
Because I
Yeah.
mean, I know you really well, and you weren't super happy to be like transitioning into the virtual online space. It was uncomfortable because,
Yeah.
well, how long have you been an esthetician?
Well, I would say definitely that 25 plus years.
Okay, we're in the same category. So
Yeah.
you are considered kind of like old school esthetician, like you, as far as marketing and how you give your service and how you share your knowledge, it's
Yeah.
always been in person. So I totally respect that shifting to an online venue isn't the most comfortable thing to do, but like, how did you get past that? Was it just a matter of like sitting down and write on a piece of paper and mapping out, okay, this is what we're going to do, this is how I'm going to do it, and hey, that's actually not so hard.
Exactly. And then once you kind of get past that thinking that stops you, and that, it has to be perfect kind of thing as well. I actually started to feel excited about it, like in terms of it, when I would go on and just do on my actually event, oh my gosh, the serum just came in, and just I was getting excited. And I found my clients were starting to get excited and were talking about the event before it happened, which didn't happen at the in-home events, that it helped me to commit to
Yeah.
actually doing that event, because I'd put myself out there. It was too late to go back, So
Well, sometimes that's the best way. It's just like,
yeah,
oh, for Pete's sake, I just got to do this. And then vote
exactly.
yourself, okay, here's an online event.
Too
Now,
late.
crap, I got to really do this now. I got to follow through. So,
Exactly.
but
Mhm.
like you said you felt you had an aha moment in terms of like, wait a minute, this took way less time for me to organize. It was less expensive. You felt like your guests had way more focused education. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah. So yeah, you're gonna wing it again. You're gonna do it again, right?
I have another spring event coming up actually in April that I'm focusing on, again, on more of a service education format. But I'm ready. I'm excited about it, and I realize I'm not going to have to expend so much energy. And the cleanup at the end, that was the thing. You had all this energy had happened. you were there holding space for everything and everyone, and then they were all gone. And the last thing you want to do is clean your house,
Mhm. Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah, for sure.
So,
Well, and the other thing too is it just opens up that whole concept for our industry to have other revenue streams that are not in person. You know,
yeah.
like if COVID has taught us anything, it's that our industry is like some of our industry is very, very, very capable of moving to the online space and being extremely successful, and not
Yes.
just financially successful, but like, you know, having more time for themselves and their personal life, having more energy and not being totally, you know, just burnt out from having, you know, these events. I remember doing my own events. They are absolutely exhausting. It's exhausting for the team if you have a team. You know, it's huge. So, you know, if we can look at these places in this in the spa industry, and especially the skincare industry, med spas,
Yeah.
there's so much opportunity to add the online skin coaching and those pieces that go with it, like these online events, right?
Yes.
We can
Which
mimic.
create a bit of excitement for your clients. And you know, there's a lot of clients that still aren't comfortable coming into the spa, and certainly obviously not into homes right now at all. So it gives them still an opportunity to get excited about something, to learn about something, and not feel like they're missing out,
Yeah. But
you know?
I'm actually feeling very strongly that, you know, because COVID is going to be a really, I mean, we're a year in, you know, as far as vaccinations are coming, but it's going to be another year of being COVID aware, extremely COVID aware. And there's a lot of talk about that COVID will always be with us. So, you know, I think in terms of consumers and skincare consumers and spa consumers, just general consumers, the way we spend money and the way we choose to spend our money is changing and will change. And
Mhm.
so I really see a lot of opportunity for our industry to not just dip our toe in the water for online skin coaching or online skin events because we can't have them in our space due to COVID. It's like rather than just dipping our toe because we have to, we have no other choice, to really look at all that opportunity. And I'm so proud of you, Shannon, for stepping through your discomfort and doing it anyways. Because
Oh,
wow, it
thank
really
you.
showed that you're like, hey, I doubled my sales. Didn't have as much cleanup. It was way less work. Heck yes,
Yeah.
you're gonna do this again.
Absolutely. And you know, I think I way prefer to do it this way than the other way. This is something that I feel like I can really stay in touch with my clients that really want to be there for these events far more than I did when I was having the in-house events. So
Mm,
it doesn't make sense for me to go back and do that again.
yep.
Really, if they're coming into the studio anyway, one
Yeah.
on one, I'm seeing them and giving them personal time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
yeah,
and you know, as far as your specific business, we kind of didn't really touch on this other than at the beginning, saying about your business, Anam Cara Soul and Skin Sanctuary. But you, I mean, you're primarily skin and energy work, mostly
yeah.
like you do Reiki, but I know you're Reiki. It's like it's a bunch of modalities. It's not just Reiki. There's a lot of magic in there. But you have distance Reiki sessions that you do with people. So you already are doing services, online
Virtual.
virtual services on a regular basis.
Mhm.
So, and I know that you were also doing virtual skin services for a little while you were closed, but that's
Yeah,
all of that just takes a little time to kind of all put together and get connected, doesn't it?
absolutely. And I have to just quickly add, you know, doing the virtual services when I was closed, Kirsten, I was so much more relaxed and focused and able to just feel like I was actually more present
Hmm.
doing my virtual services. I in my own energy felt less stressed.
So was
All,
is that your virtual skin services as well?
that even and even Reiki, yeah, and even the distance Reiki, like all of it, and these events, I have noticed that because going back in, it does feel like I'm kind of catching up with myself again
Mm,
because I was really starting to enjoy doing services virtually because we're not wearing masks. I can see your whole face. I can read you. you know, and I don't have to be in the room to feel you energetically. I can feel you, but I can read you when I see your face. So there's something about that that feels just, we can still connect this way, very much so. It doesn't hinder us.
Absolutely. And,
Yeah.
especially for, skin therapists and energetic healers like you that can do distance energy work, it expands your ability to impact people like beyond your just physical location. So, there's a lot more, this industry is all about impact and on our community. We don't
Yeah.
get into the spa industry to get rich. It's an impossibility, right? It's like it doesn't work that way. You have to have that passion behind this business or it kind of fizzles out. So yeah, so I'm really grateful that you came on and shared your story with us about your virtual online event. I've definitely heard other spa owners, both solos and teams, doing virtual online events. And I know that there's going to be a tendency to go back to in-person events when they can. But, our industry is always complaining about how exhausted they are.
Yeah.
So like, hey peeps, there's like, here's like the golden ticket, you don't have to go completely virtual, but if you want to have some spaciousness in your work, with your team, more opportunity, larger reach, exploring what virtual skin services and what virtual energetic services can do is it's just lots of opportunity out there for everybody.
Absolutely. And less stress.
Totally. Absolutely. We're all about less stress. Hey, we're in the spa industry. One would think,
I know,
right?
we're learning along.
We do. We have to kind of learn along. I think most consumers would be surprised at how frenetic and stressful being a spa owner it really is.
Behind
What
the
we put
scenes.
on the outside to our clients is not what's happening behind the scenes usually. So let's make a difference. Let's change that freneticness and do things easier. Try a virtual event this spring.
Absolutely. I'm excited about mine.
Excellent. I can't wait to hear about it and help you along with it too, Shannon.
Thank you
You so
so
much.
much.
Thanks for joining
I've
me.
enjoyed this. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.